Today we're taking a look at these NCAAF matches, which are happening on Friday, November 4, 2022, and giving you our player props, match breakdowns, betting tips and predictions in general on these games. Welcome back to High Stakes, let's get straight into it. Also, don't forget to subscribe and push that notification bell to get notified as soon as we release these sport prediction videos. And if you would like more betting tips and predictions, then check out our Patreon in the link down below. Our new Patreon is a way for us to help you improve your chances of making more money. Multiple plans are available for each and every one of you. By becoming a member of the High Stakes Patreon, you will have access to our best team picks, total picks, parlay picks and much more. Stop wasting hours of your time searching for bad betting predictions that ends up costing you a lot of time and money. Join the High Stakes Patreon now and get the best betting picks. Massachusetts vs Connecticut. The Huskies' defense has been outstanding as of late, so I'm going with the hosts to cover. UConn will lean on its ground game to move the chains against the Minutemen, who'll have a mountain to climb versus the Huskies' defensive unit. The Huskies are tallying just over 40 rushing attempts per game, and the Minutemen won't be able to contain them, especially if their defensive unit spends a lot of time on the field. UConn is 5-0 ATS in its last 5 games overall, and 4-1 ATS in its previous 4 games at home. The Huskies have covered the spread in their previous 2 showings as favorites in 2022. On the other side, UMass has covered 4 times in its last 14 contests overall. Our team pick is UConn Huskies minus 15.5 points. Even with a very low total in this game, I am still leaning towards the under. UMass is the lowest scoring team in the nation, and the total has gone under in 5 of their last 6 games. UConn is coming off a win where they only scored 13 points and only gave up 3, and in their last 4 games, the total has gone under every time. Neither team passes the ball much, and with each running the ball the clock will continue to roll. UConn will have a good ground game, and they will get their points but not many. The Huskies have the luxury of playing a UMass team that is only averaging 12.1 ppg, and I do not think they will reach that number in this game. The odds makers see a very low scoring game and they are right, and even at 40.5 points, the total for this contest will go under. Take the under 40.5 points. Boston College Eagles vs Duke Blue Devils. Duke is coming off a bye week after going on the road and beating the Miami Hurricanes 45-21. The victory over Miami snapped a 2-game losing streak. Duke had a narrow 336-327 edge in total yardage. The drastic difference came in the turnover battle as Miami committed 8 turnovers and Duke committed 2. Following the win, the Blue Devils are 2-2 in the ACC this season. They also have a 38-17 conference win over Virginia on their resume, along with losses to Georgia Tech 23-20 and North Carolina 38-35. Duke is 5-3 against the spread overall. The Eagles have been a horrendous offensive team, ranking 116th with 311.4 total yards per game. They are 65th with 242 passing yards and 130th with 69.4 rushing yards. Quarterback Phil Jurkovec is questionable with an undisclosed injury. Jurkovec is completing 59.5% of his passes this season, with 11 touchdowns and 8 interceptions. Backup quarterback Emmett Morehead has completed 21 of 39 passes for 225 yards, with 1 touchdown and 1 interception. Boston College is 102nd in yards per pass attempt, and to make matters worse, they may not even have their top signal caller in this game. A successful running game can go a long way in helping a backup quarterback, but Boston College doesn't have one. The Eagles average just 2.1 yards per rush, which is 128th amongst 131 FBS teams in yards per rush attempt. Boston College is going to have a tough time keeping up. Duke is 18th in the nation, averaging 5.3 rushing yards per attempt, and will wear down a Boston College defense that will spend a lot of time on the field. The Blue Devils are also 2nd in the nation with a plus 1.9 turnover differential per game, and Boston College is dead last at minus 1.6 per game. This one could get really ugly. Back the Blue Devils. Our team pick is Duke minus 9.5 points. The Eagles struggled as they have scored a total of 21 points in their previous 3 games, while the Blue Devils are scoring 34.5 points per game in their last 4 games. With Boston College dealing with Jurkovec being hurt and dealing with an injury, it will be difficult to see the program being able to move the football. Duke is just 10 for 16 as a team kicking field goals, while Boston College is 7 of 13 on field goal tries this season, so these teams are going to line up for field goals and keep the scoring extremely low. The under has it in each of the previous 5 games against one another, so go with under 47.5 points in this game. Washington Huskies vs Oregon State Beavers. I will be taking the Washington Huskies minus 4.5 in this matchup at home against the Beavers. Oregon State will be without their starting quarterback, as I see them struggling to throw the ball in this game. Oregon State will look to lean on their rushing attack, but I don't see that working in this one. The Huskies are surrendering the 21st least amount of rushing yards per game, as their front seven has been the strongest part of their defense this season. They will slow down the run and consistently get stops in this game. They will get the ball back to their offense, as I see Penix Jr. throwing the ball all over this Oregon State secondary. Oregon State secondary has continued to struggle this season, and the Huskies are averaging the most passing yards per game in the nation. They will continue to consistently march the ball up and down the field, as the Beavers are surrendering the 68th most passing yards per game. Their secondary will continue to struggle, and they will be without their starting QB in this one. I see this killing Oregon State, as they won't be able to cover the spread without Nolan playing in this game. Pick the Washington Huskies and lay the points, minus 4.5. The Huskies return from their bye week 2. Washington sits with a 6-2 record along with a 3-2 conference record. They have lost to UCLA and Arizona State this season, as their toughest games of the year are right in front of them. The Huskies will face number 8 ranked Oregon following their clash against the Beavers on Friday night. In their last game, Washington defeated Cal 28-21 as they led for the majority of the game. Cal led by 1 point for about 5 minutes of gamma play in the second quarter, before a Washington touchdown and a 2-point conversion gave them a 14-7 lead. Cal would tie the game at halftime, but 2 fourth-quarter touchdown passes from Michael Penix Jr. would be the difference in the game. Penix finished throwing 36 for 51 for 374 yards and 2 touchdowns versus Cal. Penix has thrown over 300 yards in each game this season. He has 22 touchdowns to only 4 interceptions and has been sacked only 5 times. Washington has the number 1 ranked passing attack in the country, as they average 379 yards per game. They are also scoring 40 points per game, which ranks 10th. Hammer the under. The forecast in Friday's game calls for highs in the 40s and a 60 to 80% chance of rain as of Wednesday. The passing attacks for either side will struggle with the wetness of the ball. Catching and passing will both be difficult. Both of these teams' defenses thrive against the run. This game will result in a low-scoring game if either side is forced to run the ball for the majority of the game. Take the under 55.5 points.